A very good evening to all of you. I'm sure you come from different parts of India, and your stay in Ahmedabad would be very nice, but also to have this wonderful discussion at this conference. It's nice to be a part of this panel. I have known most of the panel for several years, and also to Mr. Sharing that I was a student of MCC, so I know him through that route. You know, you're going to enact and be part of an extremely important event over the next 2 days. The United Nations is quite a fascinating place where discussion happens, where people come from so many different perspectives and to talk. And I believe that you have all planned and have all looked at it from that different lens. The same problem, looking at different places, different lenses, looks completely different. And as was done in the introduction, I was fortunate of being part of some of the United Nations discussions which concern with environment and then later sustainable development. At that time in '92, the word environment was rather not known so much. In fact, till that time, there had never been a gathering of so many people discussing issues of sustainability of this planet. And that was a time when we had some of the largest number of people, about 118 heads of government and state, which had gathered together. But what was so nice was the way the Indian delegation actually negotiated these stands. And this you saw right throughout. And I think Time magazine at that time really commented that both their articulation and their language skills makes the Indian delegation, and of course Pakistani as well, particularly unique. And what we would do is we would have one delegation discuss it till the evening, and then when everyone was tired and people thought now we will be able to get a judgment, another Indian delegation would also turn up. And they would go on and on because we knew what the point was. I remember, just to give you an example, the question was whether there should be a forest convention. At that time, in '92, that's when the conventions on climate change and on desertification and biodiversity happened, but there was a plan also to make a convention on forests. And the Indian government argued that forests are a national resource. We are talking about nation building. It's a national resource. So how can there be a convention on forests and how we use it if you don't have a convention on petroleum and gasoline? So let us have a convention on petroleum, and we will be able to tell the world how you should draw your petroleum, and then you can tell us about our forests. Now it was a very different, interesting perspective, because the perspective was not so much that we want to be disrespectful for our forest, or we want to cut our forest, but the question was, do you outside have a right to tell us? Now this is a very important aspect which came out, but which also came out during that conference was what are called Rio Principles. And I think many of you can look at them, what the Rio Principles were. One of those principles, common but differentiated responsibility, CBDR. That principle, I think Indian delegations mention every time we go up on the stage, every time we have a mic in the UN, we will mention this. And what it means is that while some of the problems are common, the responsibilities are differentiated, they are different. Those who have in fact been responsible for spoiling that environment have a larger responsibility than us. The polluter pays principle came out that way. Who should clean up something? Is it the polluter? Is it someone else? In the climate change negotiations just now, there is a discussion going on whether India should be able to emit so much greenhouse gases. Now per capita, per person, we emit very little, but we happen to be 1.2, 1.25 billion people. We are 1/6 of mankind. I remember the book of Minu Masani, which starts by every sixth person. If you line up everyone in the world, every sixth person is an Indian. And that is the responsibility. What is the responsibility of India? The total population being 7 billion, it is different. So as India, the population is different. And something I don't have to say here is that India is essentially a young country. The youth group of India is the largest anywhere in the world. The youth is what is driving this country. And therefore what you do, what youth does in India will drive it. And that is the topic of the day, role of youth in nation building. What we are going to do is I'm going to ask each of my panelists to make an opening comment of approximately 5 minutes or so. We will then have questions which I will ask the panel. We will then open it up to all of you. And you can ask any questions or make any comments. We will try and see if we can answer it. We want it to be a more participatory session. You needn't direct a comment to any particular speaker, but you'll have to keep it short. So don't make a long speech. You will have chances to do that over the next 2 days. So may I, with these words, invite Rima Nanavati to make her comments. Thank you.
Namaste and a very good evening to all the young students, distinguished faculty, principal and my very distinguished panelist and moderator. Today whatever I speak here on behalf of our 2 million sisters, all poor but extremely hardworking women in the informal sector of our country. And contributing to our country's national savings and also the GDP. So SEVA, the organization I belong to, was founded from the city of Ahmedabad in 1972 by our founder Ila Bhatt. And SEVA was born out of the Textile Labor Association, I hope some of you would know, which was founded by Mahatma Gandhi and Ansuyaben Sarabhai. And so we at SEVA follow the Gandhian values and principles in our organizing. So we come together as poor, as women and as workers, no matter what caste, community or religion we belong to. Our 4 decades of organizing the poor women workers has made us believe that poverty is a form of violence with the consent of the society. Hence, at SEVA we work to equip and enable the poor women members in their fight against poverty, to earn dignity and self-respect and the economic security that brings together the economic freedom. So our goals are full employment and self-reliance of our members. Who are the members of SEVA? Who are these informal sector women workers? So these are the home-based workers, women who work from their home, beady rollers, incense stick rollers, garment workers, artisans. They are service providers and manual workers. We see women collecting waste from the streets, construction workers, salt pan workers, forest workers, agriculture workers, small farmers. We also see vendors and hawkers. Outside of your college campus only you see hundreds of vendors and hawkers who earn their living by selling their labor and services on the streets. And then the producers. So here I am talking of these kind of women members who are about 2 million in their numbers at SEVA. My question to you young students is that we are today in this new age economy. I hope you all agree to that. And the challenge and where the country looks up to the youth like you is how do we build a peaceful and equitable society. The challenge ahead for the youth of our country, and therefore again the country looks up to the young people like you for solutions, is on national and regional integration. How do we work on that? The question I had, which I would love to hear some of the suggestions and alternatives from you, are what are the new livelihoods and opportunities that increase the incomes of the poor in our cities and in our villages? How do we ensure food security at the household level, especially for women? How do we link local to global as one family as sisters, and as brothers? How does digital, financial, energy inclusion happen? I was seeing that each one of you were having cell phones, multiple cameras, working and clicking, texting to your friends. But how does inclusion happen using these tools and equipments? So I would end here, but these are some of the questions which I would really like to hear from you young people, that what do you think are the solutions lying ahead for all of us in the city, in our state and in our country. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Here, can I request you?
To say something. I feel like singing a song, but those guys are not interested up there. थोड़ा रिवर्ब लगाओ यार, गाना गाना है. Okay, now this is a song. Don't know whether you heard it or not. All right. You wouldn't have heard it because you're young, and this, like, I heard it when I was a kid. It's called, you would have heard it. It's called Where Have All the Flowers Gone? Right? How many have heard it? No? See? Got your attention now. You really want me to sing? Yes. Okay, it goes on like this. If I sing the whole song, my 5 minutes will be up. Alright? So I'll just kind of sing a few bars and then tell you. It goes, reverb dala. Hello? 1, 2, 3. Okay, leave it. Okay, it goes, where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the flowers gone? Young girls pick them, everyone. Oh, will they ever learn? When will they ever learn? So the flowers get picked up by young girls. And then, where have all the young girls gone? Long time passing. Where have all the young girls gone? Long time ago. And so the girls get picked up by husbands, everyone. Long time passing. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn? So the young men who have married these girls, where have all the husbands gone? Long time passing. Are feedback control karo yaar, gana ga raha hu. Where have all the young men gone? It turns out the First World War started. So they've gone to what? First World War, everyone. Okay, they go to battle, everyone. When will they ever learn? And then say, where have all the young men gone? Oh, where have all the husbands gone? They've gone to battle, everyone. And where have all the soldiers gone? I'm a soldier. So they've gone to graveyards, everyone. Okay, now I got your attention too. And the last verse is, where have all the graveyards gone? They've given flowers, everyone. And the song repeats itself. Alright, because girls pick up the flowers, the guys pick up the girls. The guys go, because there's a war out there, it's a very long war. This actually is a song of old men. It's called Where Have All the Flowers Gone? And there was a time in Europe where there were no young people. And it took a long, long time for these old people to make babies. It took another kind of, it was very difficult, at that age. And then the babies had to grow up. And that generation of babies are called the baby boomers. Have you heard of the baby boomers? They are the people. He's a baby boomer. I'm the last of the baby boomers. Alright? The baby boomers made babies boom. Alright? And the technological the social, all the changes which suddenly took a leap, okay, after the 50s, is all because of the children of the baby boomers. Now the baby boomers have gone old, and you are young. And we did kind of tackle the world in some way or the other, but the challenges are very, very different. Let me tell you that now all the fun ends out here. This is serious stuff. Firstly, I can really, really feel the kind of the power of youth. It's like hitting me, right? National power. Everybody knows about national power, no? Right? Yeah, I need some little bit of kind of. I sang a song for you, for God's sake. Come on. Yeah. So one of the elements of national power, there are quite a few. Geography, this, that, and the other. So population is a very, very important one. And out of the population, the youth. And like Mr. Sarabhai has already brought out, we are a young nation, including you front benches and the panelists. It's all in the mind also, but you do have certain kind of advantages over us. It's the world around you, the way you've grown up, the conditions you've grown up, and your sheer youth. There used to be 2 essays which to write when we were young, probably younger than you, in school. It was called Brain Drain. Remember? Brain drain, all the youth, the talent of this country, because there was no opportunities and all that. They all used to go to USA. And you know what we ended up doing? We ended up making USA great. Because we wasted our youth out there. But then there was payback time. 1991, we had only 2 weeks of foreign exchange reserve left. And all the diaspora which had gone out, all the NRIs, they contributed money and put this country back on its feet. Remember that? Okay, that's what youth power does. We also used to write another very kind of moth-eaten, weather-beaten essay called The Generation Gap. Anybody writes essays like that anymore? No. Because there is no generation gap now. Alright? Because we've come to terms with our traditions and modernity, and we've kind of stabilized in such a way, okay, that the same girl who was wearing jeans just the other day came and sang the song for the Diya. Right? And she did it so beautifully. Okay? So we've got a lot of things to be proud of. Now, I'll tell you about NCC. We have nearly 15 lakh, 1.5 million young people in the organization which I come from. In fact, the strength is more than the Indian Army. Indian Army is just 1.3. And this is like climbing up to 1.5. So we have a kind of a regiment. And we train them. Firstly, we get them together. And we put on uniforms on all of them. That straight away kind of sorts out the high class, low class, and everybody's kind of the same. Then we trouble them a bit, make them march around in the heat and stuff. Put in a little bit of regimentation into them. And then there are camps where we kind of, literally crush them together. And they meet people from, the children from other states, from the, in fact, other countries also. And they go, we put them through a little kind of a duress. At the end of it, they come out like quite a different worldview from what they had got inside for. All right, that's what NCC does, in a nutshell. So now, when NCC was thought of, it was the second line of defense. Am I right, sir? You're supposed to replace the army. If all the army guys got killed, the NCC would kind of, take up weapons and fight the enemy. Alright? External enemy, because we are thinking only about the Chinese then. But then our neighbor, like the Pakistanis, also started kind of getting into the act. And then suddenly our own people also started getting into the act. Okay, so the whole perspective of conflict and threat started changing. Right? And now it has come to such a point that we have to sit down, put our heads together and actually, note down what are the threats to this country. Nation building can happen, all right, but unless the threats are negated, you cannot do the building part. All right, because the threats themselves, cut on the foundation and bring the whole edifice down. So, I'll just kind of read out a few things which I noted down, which are your kind of, these are the kind of, not only the country, the whole world, these are the threats. Climate change, the air you breathe, the water you have, new kind of mutated forms of bacteria, viruses, okay, even the ones in the computers, which brings me down to cyber crimes, cyber threats. Last year, you may not know about this, and exactly almost a year ago, no, July, all army officers, when we checked our kind of net for how much pay did we get this month, the entire website of the organization which pays us was missing. Okay, and can you imagine? Like, we didn't know whether we would get paid. Right? So there was like consternation, army officers lead from, actually lead a very funny life. No, we lead a rich poor man's life, but we actually hand them out. So, then they took about 3 months to get the website back, and then it took us 3 months to get our pay back. And we don't even know who did it. We don't even know till this day. We don't know whether it's China, we don't know whether it was Pakistan, or was it ourselves. Okay, there's a degree of what is called deniability. Deniability is what? Something happens to you bad. They said, you did it. He said, no, I didn't do it. And there's no way you can prove that that person did it. Okay? So these kind of threats are coming up. Undeniability. Cyber. Economic. There's already a war on. Ladies, young ladies and gentlemen, there's already a war on. And I just give you an example of how a cyber attack, hit the Indian Army. They chose the target. You already know what can happen to our transportation system, our energy grids and all that. You already know that. Social media, this big data thing, it doesn't make sense to us. Okay, it will make sense to you. You will have to sort it out. It is a threat. Threat meaning if you don't handle it properly, you're going to get all messed up. Governance. Governance. The way this country runs. The kind of politicians you will choose. Okay, we curse them whenever we want and all that, but one of them turns out here, I'll be also kind of jumping down and saying, hey, hello, yes sir, and all that. Okay, that's the culture. Okay, how will you change that? You're going to do it. We are too old for that. Space. There's a whole new kind of space out there. When Britain ruled the seas, it ruled the whole, the sun never set on the Union Jack. Then came air power. Now you have to go beyond that. Nobody's gone there. Only a few countries have gone there, and India is one of them. We are doing quite well out there. God bless ISRO. And then there's security required of your energy, your food, and your water. And you have to use technology for all that. Okay. So, what I want to say, I think I've exceeded my 5 minutes. What I want to say is, though as a uniformed man, I started looking as a very obvious, immediate threat, the threat perception has changed over the years. I hope you can think of means or some germ of an idea, okay, which we can take away, and maybe I can put it in the curriculum of NCC and prepare that 15 lakh youth which is there with me, right? Okay, so your questions would generally take that into concern, which I can handle. And you have to think bigger. Oh, the other thing is there's so much of advertisements, so much of facades. Okay, people will tell you, buy this, buy that, vote for this, vote for that. This is good for you, that's bad for you. Even you go into Google, yeah, somebody is saying apple cider is so good for you. Another one is saying it's bad, it'll take away enamel of your teeth. All right, so you don't know what to believe. Okay, so you should please inculcate that talent to find credibility. Look through people, look through these facades. They're all trying to fool us. Okay, can you do that? You're very smart. Indian youngsters are the smartest in the world. Believe that. Hey, where are the Argentinians? Where are the other country youngsters? Where are they sitting? They all run away. Where are they? Are they here? All right, good. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Brigadier says that he took the time of the next speaker who is not here. So that's why. Okay. May I now have the pleasure of requesting Mr. B.N. Dastur to make his initial comments.
Now relax. You have a long evening here. We'll try to make it short. So just relax. Professor Barucha and Karthik Bhai have been talking about environment. Do not worry about all the talks about environment today. Worry about only one environment in the world today which will affect you. And that environment is called the environment of any. A-N-Y-N-E. Anybody can come anytime from anywhere and hurt you anyway. That is the today's environment, whether you like it or not. When 21st century came, people wanted to label it. So after a lot of debate, they were labeled this as a century of dynamic stability. Now these are contradictory words. Dynamic is ever moving, stable. What they want to say is that only stable entity in the world in which you live on is change. The only stable thing you are going to face is change. And when you have to fight change, you cannot fight it physically. You have to fight with your brain. And please understand this, that you cannot fight with only one brain that you have. You have to use the brain of all people you know and all the people you do not know. Unless you do it, the thing is going to work. I am supposed to be a management person. The management definition in my time was a manager is the policeman of rules, regulations, procedures and policies. Then came another definition. Manager is managing people. That is a big nonsense because we cannot manage ourselves. How can I manage 500 people or 5,000 people? That was a bigger nonsense. So today, management is managing the knowledge of people. You manage the knowledge of people. Ask questions to them. Unfortunately, in our country we have a very popular song. Hum honge kamyab. When? Ek din. Nobody knows about that din. ये गाने से कुछ भी नहीं होने वाला है. What you have to do is, You have to change your dreams into reality. And dreaming is very easy. Dreaming is so easy. Chala, help me. Suppose at my age, I think somebody mentioned my age. I didn't like it, but somebody mentioned it. Right? I'm 85-year-old. And I want to take a celebrity woman on a date. And let me complete. I want you to advise me who. There is a school here. It is called Zydus School of Excellence. ये जिनको टीचर नहीं आई थी, टीचर was not absent. So I was told by the principal, okay, go and tell people 11th class how to change dream into reality. So I went there and asked them the question, whom should I take on date? Girls raised their fingers first. I said yes. It was started with Pratibha Patil. The next one said, Mother Teresa. मैंने कहा वो तो मर गई, चिंता को तो नाम बोलो यार कम से. Then I said boys. The boys came out with Priyanka Chopra, Katrina Kaif. Now the question is, have I got the guts to take either Pratibha Patil or Katrina Kaif on a date? So these are dreams. They are absolutely useless dreams. Your dream must be based on your strength. Discover your strength. Let people talk whatever they want. You have to discover your strength first. And when you discover your strength, on the basis of your strength, you start dreaming. And when you start dreaming, you make an action plan. It is called design. And then you put that plan into action. That is the only way you are going to go ahead. Most of you will be asking wrong questions in life. If you ask a wrong question, you get a wrong reply. For example, at the end of your studies, etc., you will say, what do I do? Is a foolish question. What is the correct question? What needs to be done is a correct question. What do I want to do? And I want to do a lot of things which I cannot even mention. Follow? But it has no meaning. What needs to be done is the most important question that you have got to ask. And there, the life starts by making money. Whatever people will tell you, big things, money is number one. Follow? And to earn that money, there are three ways of doing it. One is doing a job. जो गधा भी करता है, donkeys also do a job. What you have to do is, you have to make a career. कारकिर्दी बनानी है, career बनानी है. And when you want to make a career, understand this very clearly, that make a career which could help the nation. For example, be an entrepreneur. Start a small business so that you create wealth for the society. This is the sort of things that we are going to discuss, and these are the sort of things you should ask us. Thank you.
And you heard three wonderful comments, speakers, and the rain is back here. I'm just going to ask them some quick questions, and then I'm going to open it up to you on the floor. Maybe I'll start with Brigadier.